So here we are in our sixth and final video on the crucifixion. We have just a little bit more to do and we will finish today. So God says the day begins at sundown. That is important. I know I've said that multiple times. We're going to start here in Matthew 28, verse 1. So here's what it says. And this will come into play when we're figuring out really when did all these things happen. So it says, now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. Okay, now after the Sabbath. So we know that the Sabbath is Friday night to Saturday. God says the day begins at sundown. So Saturday night-ish, when Sabbath is over, that is when Mary and the other Mary are coming to the tomb, because that's what it says. Now, after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn. So, growing up Lutheran, I had always been taught that Jesus resurrected at sunrise. But it says that as the first day of the week began to dawn, and Jesus is already up, he's already been risen. That's what we're going to see. So, let's continue here. So in 28 verse 2, and behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it. His countenance was like lightning and his clothing as white as snow. And the guards shook for fear of him, and he became like dead men. But the angel answered and said to the women, do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who is crucified. He is not here, for he is risen. As he said, come see the place where the Lord lay. So the angel is saying that Jesus has already risen. So this would be Saturday night because Sabbath is over. That's what it says. So if we take our weekly Sabbath and back up 3 days, we get to Passover being nice on 14 on a Wednesday. Does this make sense? I can hear you saying yes. I know it does. A couple of things that I want to mention also here, that the next day is going to be the Feast of First Fruits. And Jesus is referred to as the first fruits from the grave. Also, it starts the first day of the counting of the Omer. And what is that, in case you'd like to know? So the counting of the Omer is basically just the counting of the days between the Feast of First Fruits and Pentecost. That's what that is. So this may be something that you've never heard of. And I understand that. If you are unsure of what I have shared, then what you should do is look all this up for yourself, and then you should go and share this with somebody who you respect biblically. Maybe it's your pastor, maybe it's a cousin, mother, parent, friend, whomever. So let's see, for example, with your pastor, if your pastor has any integrity. Now, I'm not blaming people who've never heard of this before, because I didn't know this for most of my life either. But when you look at the scriptures, then you see that it all makes sense. But here's the thing. If you present all of this scriptural evidence that I've presented to you, if you present this to someone, your pastor, whomever, and they say, that lady, she's crazy, that's not the right response. The answer should be, if they've never heard this before, this is interesting. I've never heard this before. Let's look at this together. That should be the response. Someone with integrity, with integrity, that will be their response. Somebody who dismisses this immediately has zero integrity. And like I've said previous, most pastors go to the same cemetery, yes, I do mean cemetery. So what I don't want to happen to you is what happened to me, in that when you begin to question things, then they say you can't be here, and they have a barbecue, and they tell people that you're the reason that people are leaving, and the deacon or the elder stands up and tells people to talk to you. I don't want that to happen to you, but in 999 of 1,000 churches that I would walk in, I'm certain they would speak about a Friday crucifixion and a Sunday morning resurrection, and it simply doesn't work with the scriptures. So as you begin to question things, I hope you have a better experience. Armor Up, we write at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.